Chapter 43. The Spark That Burns. The room was still warm with the remnants of their breathless passion. Decima sat up slowly, brushing her hair back with trembling fingers, the afterglow fading into a sharp, sudden awareness, a pull in her chest like a string tugging at her ribs. The rune in the air shimmered, faint and unsteady, just above her fingertips. She hadn't realized she was drawing it, an instinct, a memory surfacing like a ghost in her blood. Daniel sat beside her, shirtless, the light catching the lines of his shoulders. He watched her with a mix of curiosity and something deeper, like he knew the air had changed, that the warmth between them was about to ignite into something far more dangerous. "Decima!" His voice was soft, wary. "What are you doing?" "I don't know," she whispered. Her voice was hoarse, her breath catching as the rune flared brighter. It's like it's coming through me." The rune snapped, a sudden crack of gold and heat. It burst outward, a shockwave of raw, uncontrolled magic, striking Daniel across the chest. He gasped, thrown back onto the bed, a sharp cry tearing from his throat. The smell of scorched air filled the room. "Daniel!" Decima scrambled toward him, her hands shaking as she reached for his face, her heart hammering like a drumbeat in her ears. His skin was warm, too warm, his chest rising and falling in uneven, shallow breaths. Oh God. His eyes fluttered open, hazy and unfocused, then locked onto hers with a jolt of clarity. He coughed, a ragged, breathless sound, and managed a faint, crooked smile. Well, that was a hell of a spark. Her breath left her in a rush, part laugh, part sob. She cradled his face, guilt and fear twisting in her stomach. But the glow in her fingers didn't stop. The magic still hummed beneath her skin, hot and alive, coiling like smoke. "I didn't mean to," she started, but he caught her wrist, his fingers curling around her pulse. "I know," he rasped, his voice low, hoarse but steady. "But you're going to have to learn to control it, or it's going to control you." The words hung between them, heavy as the crackle of magic still lingering in the air. Decima nodded, swallowing hard. The rune shimmered once more before fading, leaving behind only the faint scent of ash and the echo of something, waiting, something wild and unstoppable, waiting to be unleashed. After the incident with Daniel, Decima couldn't breathe. The air inside the cottage felt too tight, like the walls themselves were pressing in on her. Her fingers still trembled from the flash of magic, the way it had sparked and burned, the way Daniel's skin had blistered under her touch. I need to clear my head," she muttered, grabbing her coat. Daniel didn't stop her. His eyes were still wide, his breathing uneven. She didn't dare meet his gaze for long. The memory of what she'd done too raw, too frightening. She got in her car and drove, the engine humming beneath her hands. She stopped at the co-op petrol station in Barrie, the familiar one, just past the roundabout, the sign flickering a little in the early evening light. She grabbed a meal deal, a vegetable wrap, a packet of crisps, a fizzy drink, and left quickly, her thoughts spinning too fast to settle. Later, she found herself parked near the beach, where the path ran up through the trees and the hedgerows, past the fields where the crows liked to gather. The air smelled sharp, salt and damp leaves, the faint musk of the earth after a light rain. She wandered up the lane, unwrapping her food as she walked. The wrap was bland, soggy, the vegetables limp. She forced down a few bites, then gave up, tearing it into pieces and scattering them on the ground for the birds. The crisps and drink were better. She ate those, wiped her hands, and tucked the wrappers carefully into her bag. Her eyes tracked the birds swooping down, gulls, crows, a few robins hopping near the hedgerow. She always loved this path, loved the squirrels darting in the underbrush, the birdsong filling the air. Then a voice snapped through the quiet, sharp as a whip. "You could pick up your own rubbish, you know, instead of leaving it everywhere." She turned, startled. An older man, maybe 50, gray hair sticking up in tufts, a worn jacket zipped tight, stood a few feet away, his wife clutching the leads of 2 dogs. One was a scruffy gray thing, the other black and stockier, both pulling at the leads, barking, tails high with excitement. "What?" Decima blinked, frowning. He jabbed a finger at the ground. "You've left tissues all over the path. Absolutely disgusting. Some of us actually respect the countryside." Her face burned. "I haven't dropped any tissue. If something fell, it must have been an accident." "Accident, my arse." He stepped closer, voice rising, face twisted into an angry scowl. His wife tried to pull him back, but he waved her off. People like you, no respect, littering everywhere. Decima's pulse surged, heat prickling at her skin. I didn't drop anything. Her voice was louder than she meant it to be, the words tearing out like a whip crack. She turned away, heart racing, but then the weight of it gnawed at her. She spun back, stomping toward the spot he'd pointed out. There in the grass, soggy, dirt-streaked wet wipes clumped and stuck to the mud. But she recognized them. They'd been there for days. She'd seen them before, muttered to herself about the mess on a walk earlier in the week. This isn't mine, she shouted, breath sharp in her throat. The man smirked, as if he'd won something, shaking his head like she was beneath him. Something snapped. Decima's skin prickled, the air around her humming like the crackle of a storm. Her lips parted. Leave me alone. It wasn't a shout, not really, but the words pulsed with something deeper, thicker, slipping into the air like a spark to dry tinder. The man opened his mouth to retort, and feathers burst out of him. Soft gray and white plumes, spilling past his lips in a wild, uncontrollable gust. His eyes bulged and he choked, sputtering as the feathers kept coming, sticking to his tongue, brushing against his nose. His wife gasped, stumbling back as the dogs went berserk, barking and darting in circles, leads tangling tight around his legs. The man stumbled, twisted, fell hard onto the path, flailing, trying to spit the feathers out, as they kept puffing out of his mouth like a broken pillow. His face flushed red, his voice muffled and ragged beneath the soft, endless cascade. Decima's heart raced, her breath shallow in her chest. The air around her buzzed faintly, like the echo of a spark fading into the quiet. She backed away, her hands shaking. She hadn't meant to. She hadn't thought. She hadn't even realized the words had power. Decima burst through the cottage door, the handle rattling under her grip. Her breath hitched, uneven, like she'd been running, though she hadn't. Daniel was still there, shirt half buttoned now, sitting on the edge of the sofa, rubbing the spot where the magic had struck him. His head snapped up when he saw her. Decima, what the hell? He started to stand, eyes sharp, wary, as if expecting her to burst into flame. She cut him off, her words tumbling out fast, breathless. I didn't mean to. He was shouting and I said something, and it happened. Feathers, out of his mouth, just pouring out. She laughed once, a sharp, hollow sound, running her hands through her hair, then stopped, her shoulders sagging. I didn't even think. It just happened. Daniel stared at her, stunned. You're telling me you cursed someone? I didn't curse him. She snapped, then paused, her voice softening. Or maybe I did. I don't know. It felt like it was already there, like the words found me. Daniel shook his head, half laughing, half in disbelief. Jesus, Decima. You could have killed him. Her eyes locked onto his, something unspoken passing between them. Fear. Maybe, or something sharper. A tremor ran through her, and she sank into the chair opposite, her fingers still shaking. I remember things, she whispered, almost like a confession. Bits and pieces, flashes, there's a place. The council, the ones who make the rules. I don't know why, but it's there. It's all there. It's like the memories are buried under my skin. Daniel frowned, his voice low, hesitant. The council? What are you talking about? Her gaze drifted toward the window, her eyes distant, as if the memory was playing out in the trees beyond. I don't know all of it yet, just pieces, rules. We weren't meant to break. Warnings about bonding, about magic that binds souls together, the rules of Witchland. There are consequences. She swallowed, her throat tight, as if the words themselves burned. I think we broke something, or maybe it was already broken. Daniel was silent, watching her with a mix of awe and unease, like he was seeing her for the first time. The air between them pulsed, charged with something unspoken. Then softly, almost under his breath, Daniel muttered, Christ, Decima, I think I love you. His words hung in the space, raw and uncertain, as if they'd slipped out before he could stop them. Decima blinked, her breath catching. For a long moment, she said nothing, just watched him, her heart racing, the weight of her half-remembered, truths pressing down like a storm, cloud ready to break. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the window panes. A distant crack of thunder rolled across the sky, and deep in Decima's chest, something stirred, like a key turning in a lock, an ancient door shifting open, just a sliver. Not enough to see through, not yet, but enough to know the past was coming for her.